What's up, guys? Eric Oakley and Eagle McMahon are bringing you par save commentary for the round 2 of the Masters Cup. How do you feel?
I feel great, Eric. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Parsave, for having us. I'm looking forward to seeing some awesome golf.
Totally. Thanks to the PDGA and Innova for helping make this tournament happen. We got Garrett, Gurthie, Simon Lizotte, Sias, Elmore, and myself on the card today, so we're going to see some fun stuff happening. Hole 1 is a recent change. They pulled it down to kind of keep people off the hill and kind of preserve this course and keep us out being able to play Delaveaga. But now it turns into a kind of want to get, almost must get, but in that realm of must get par 3s.
Yeah, most of our top players are probably throwing a 10 speed or higher disc on this hole. I imagine Garrett's throwing like possibly a Destroyer or Thunderbird like disc, and he puts it behind the basket. That's a really great way to start off your round. Mm-hmm. What are you throwing here, Eric?
I went with the Lucid Raider, and I decided that I was going to go play some baseball for the Yankees, and this was awesome to just get to the ground, especially out here with the 2-meter rule in effect. It's always good to see your disc on the ground.
Definitely. If you throw it down the right side, you're shaking in your boots just because how grabby those trees are.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of followed my line. I made the joke that we were playing for the Yankees because, why not make that joke all day?
Simon Lizotte right here. He's throwing a first-run PD2. He saws it off, but he has the speed on that disc. He's going to be just outside the circle, but he'll be looking at a 2 from there.
Mm-hmm. Sias was a little blocked off for being able to see the basket entirely, so he leaves this one a little bit right, but considering where he was, it's a pretty good play, especially with this hill being involved.
Eric from probably about 50 feet. Wow. That's an incredible way to start your round. Nice putt, Eric.
Thanks. Yeah, so we'll drop the news now. That is a guard. I am switching over to the guard, so if you're hearing it first right now, sorry, Team Marshall, but, we'll be breaking the news even more soon.
Simon hits off the cage from about 35-40.
Sias with a great save.
For sure.
And you can hear this rain. I don't know if you guys can but it is just coming down a little bit, and we're going to be battling it all day. So every par, every birdie feels amazing. So everyone you can grab is going to, help motivate your round to stay good and find a way to make your way up the charts or down the charts, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, Dela is a completely different animal when the conditions are like this.
He's got such clean form. He's been throwing the disc forever.
We are moving on to hole number 2. It is 276 feet uphill. Does not play like that at all.
It's a rip.
We're throwing 10 speed plus fairway drivers, and we're basically just hoping to get ourselves some sort of look and get a 3 on this one. Garrett in his hand. I'm not sure what he's throwing. Probably a fairway driver of sorts, and that's really a good play, just playing kind of the straight hyzer, and it looks like he gets a very fortunate roll towards the basket there. It's a great shot by Garrett.
I'm throwing a felon here, and I just put it low. It was the right line. If it's higher, it's going to be in business, but it wasn't high enough, so.
At least you're in the fairway.
Yeah. This one just hangs on for Sias and keeps turning, and I believe he got 2 metered here, which is just brutal. No look and 2 meters is Rough.
And Simon looks like he threw a great shot, getting past one of the trees you need to miss, and he'll find himself around the circle.
That felt really good until it kept rolling.
How far are you there, Eric?
It ended up being like 20 to 25, which is kind of a bummer after how good that approach felt.
Just a little left side.
Yeah. I was, especially after that good putt on hole 1, it was kind of a bummer to not capitalize on a putt there to save par. But I just didn't commit, and especially in this rain or on any putt, you gotta commit and put it in the chains.
Garrett lining up from probably about 25 feet. And that's a little bit of a mishap there. In the rain, you kind of want to take advantage of opportunities like that, especially on a hole as tough as this one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if Simon can capitalize. Simon gets a great 2. Have Sias here tapping in his 4, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And I will join him. Didn't want him to feel left out.
You're a good guy.
Yeah. And Gigi's such a positive character that this moment affects him, doesn't affect him. And I admire that about him, and how well he stays just on the path to playing well.
Exactly.
It's really impressive to watch.
We can all learn from an attitude such as his.
So moving on to 26A, our third hole. I think this is probably one of the more true disc golf holes. There's danger on the right, danger on the left, dead straight. You can throw a fairway, you can throw a mid. You just gotta commit, gotta capitalize on this 350-foot hole. It's in everybody's range.
Absolutely, but it is just tight enough to be a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And the disc Simon has in his hand right there is the new Iron Samurai, and he is showcasing it very well, much better than I threw it on this hole. But shout out to Simon for throwing my disc.
And I remember this, Garrett, his foot caught on the tee pad, and I think it threw off his timing a little bit, but he got a nice kick, kept him in the fairway. And shout out to the UDisc. They hooked us up with some towels right before the round, and that's what I was using. So big shout out to those guys. They're doing a lot of good things for the sport of disc golf.
Eric has an EMAC Truth in his hand, and it looks like he pulled it a little bit right. From there, you'll have an easy jump putt approach, but a little bit further out than you might want on this hole. Sias using a lot of the fairway.
That was a great play. Good play.
GG lining up his approach with his signature Sonic.
It's
almost got some rings there.
So much fun watching him throw that disc. It's so good. Making use of that 5 glide. Just put me up there. Get my par. Let's move on.
Sias dances on the rim for a sec, but does not convert. Eric's just a little bit too far out for the umbrella putt.
I bet we'll see plenty of umbrella putts today. The rain will pick up. Spoiler alert.
Playing in the rain, it's hard to find the happy medium of taking too much time and not enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to rush, But if you're standing out in the rain too long, then your disc starts getting wet. You start losing your grip. So it's a challenge finding that sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Sees the slip there. Good 2 there by Simon. Moves him to 2 under on the round, which is really great going into hole 27, top of the world. 4th hole we play. And this year it is 378 feet, super downhill, still very much a signature hole of Dela. But it plays significantly easier being in this position. If you're a right-handed, backhanded thrower, you're going to be wanting to take your probably most overstable fairway or distance driver and just spike it in there. Nice and high, very vertical.
Simon went inside of the tree with super vertical angle, and it was wonderful to see. You know, I appreciate the PDGA and the club's efforts out here to kind of maintain the safety of us and spectators and, passerbyers and whatnot. So let's give them a pretty big shout out. I know we all loved the old top of the world, but for the longevity of our sport, I think this, generally turns into it is a positive.
Absolutely. Being in the parking lot when discs are flying in from top of the world is very terrifying, and I'm sure many times people have gotten hurt, which is something that you don't want to see on such an historic disc golf course.
Yeah.
And that was your new Color Glow Lucid X Felon.
Yeah. It felt really good out of my hand. It just stayed in the air. I tried to give it a vertical angle like Simon's to let it spike in, but it just didn't play out for me. And this is one of those that got away from Sias. He's throwing that downhill shot. You kind of almost want to throw it almost straight down.
It's a very difficult shot
because the moment it gets an air bounce or something, it just doesn't want to stop flying, as we just saw. Giving it a bid. Sias is a great player. More I've gotten to play with him and interact with him, he's got a great personality, and his game is super, super solid. So smooth, has that slow run up, and just kind of just slings the disc up there, and he does it better than most.
Yeah, he keeps his disc very flat. He knows his angles, and he just plays within his game. That's why he's so successful out there. GG looks like he's, from this angle, he might be just outside the circle.
Yeah, he just is. We said he was. There was no flags or anything roped off, which is, so we're going off of our eyes, and benefit goes to the player if he wants to take that extra step or jump, all for it.
Just a little bit low.
The good line though. It's that type of putt that this early in the round, if you just keep to that and keep throwing it, they're gonna start falling.
Simon with another birdie, 3 under, coming off the hill. It's a great start in the rain. And pretty much, you got to think of birdies out here as insurance, because in these situations, anything above par or under par at the end of the day is super good. So pretty much every birdie he gets is insurance for what Dela could bring later down the course.
Completely agree. You never know when Dela is going to happen to you, or, it can happen out of nowhere, and then you add the conditions. So the conditions can get to you, Dela can get to you. It's just got to roll with the punches out here. Little nose up, spinny guy from Simon. Knows what he's doing.
That's fun to Keen.
Such a fire start from Simon. It's so good. 3 through 4. Really fun to watch.
We got our hole 5, but original course, hole 1. It is a par 3, the longest 315-foot hole you will ever play. You got a double Mando. Right-handed, backhanded players are throwing a 10-speed plus driver, and throwing out a hyzer, just hoping to get through the gap, maybe get a lucky skip. Let's see what Simon's throwing. I imagine he's throwing a PD2. And he catches that first tree. He'll have a decent approach from there.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of those holes where you have to challenge the ceiling high, but if it gets away from you, you're just hitting and going nowhere, as Simon did. But if you put it too low, there's those railroad ties that they'll just destroy.
Cool.
And you got to the first shelf.
Yeah.
And from there, you're in jump putt range.
Yeah. Definitely. It's, from there, I'm thinking, all right, 3. Sias showing us how it's done. Clears.
Did he
gets
get under
himself
the
up
log?
there. He did. He skipped under the log. He'll have a look.
So I'm with a little C-line P2 there. Then, are you throwing a claymore?
Yeah, just a little claymore. The Justice ran away with me, ran away from me on the second hole, so I was thinking, all right, I need to get these things to sit soft. This ground is not playing soft or hard; it's just still hard, and Disc would like to grow legs and run away. So anything we can get to sit soft is huge. Oh, this looks so good from Sias.
Great run there. He gets the disc to sit on the ground. This is one of the more bonus birdies on the course.
Totally. Everything's a par 3 other than I-5, which, we can still call it a par 3 for sakes of the old guard and the locals. But, so there's just a few holes out here that, man, 3s feel so good.
Everyone parring course hole 5. And we're moving on to hole 6. Hole 6 is a par 3, 270 foot up the hill. There are 2 main plays on this hole. You got the backhand guys throwing a very tight hyzer. And the hyzer will never really get you parked, but you can get inside the circle. But you also have a high forehand turnover, which is really nice because it flexes out as you go, and you can get a really nice scoot to the basket.
Absolutely. And I think more of the play, if you have it, is the tomahawk.
Absolutely.
If you have that kind of power and you have that kind of trust in a disc, the tomahawk is 100% the play. I've heard people, they just go long with that shot. So what happened here? I gotta see this. Ugh. It looked... Simon and Garrett shot both looked like the perfect hyzers, and they still didn't get there. I really want to see this.
See, this is my preferred play just because I feel like it's very controllable.
Dang it. That's what I figured happened. I caught that tree, leaving me in tester range.
Sias throwing the nose up inside hyzer. And right there, he's in tester range. Maybe just a little bit outside. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Sias lay up there.
So good. If you want to understand just how discs fly, just go throw a Sonic, or just watch GG throw a Sonic, because he truly controls the disc from the moment it leaves his hands till it's on the ground.
And it's very impressive. GG is one of our elite distance throwers in the sport, but showing that he has that control with a Sonic is so impressive. What happened there, Eric?
I convinced myself that I was going to run it, and I didn't fully commit, and this is the punishment of that.
Yeah, that's just kind of what happens on this hole.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to convince yourself that you made a mistake there.
Yeah.
But you got to move forward.
The one thing I was telling myself to try and keep myself in a good headspace was, you know what? You stepped up. You said you're going to run it, and you did. Now, take the consequence of that and move forward. So, definitely sucks to take a bogey there, but, what can you do? So, after a good drive and losing a stroke to the card can definitely sting a little bit, but there's tons of holes left, and you got to give credit to the other players playing smart. Moving on to hole 7, course 3, and this is a great hole. Sias and Austin Haynham aced this hole yesterday, so we're hoping to see some magic from Sias. 2 plays, backhand mid-range, up the gut, just a slight turn with a little bit of fade at the end, and it should put you right into this cluster of trees. But if you have it, the big high sidearm, I think, is the play. Pretty easy to push it out there and just let her fade back in. Simon gets the worst bounce ever and rolls back to about 45 feet.
That's brutal, but
Yeah.
it is good to see Simon having some confidence in his sidearm. That looked like it had a lot of steam on it.
He's down.
I really like the sidearm play here. It's just about finding the right height and getting that spike in. The up the gut is really nice, but the problem is it is heavily guarded with trees, so you can get some kicks and bounces down by the green. But Sias gets this one a little bit turned over. But he's in the range where you might have a window for a putt. Of course, Eric's going felon sidearm.
I like the felon play here. It comes in a little bit softer than a higher speed disc.
That is beautiful.
And unless it's in the basket, you can't ask for much more than that.
A little patent pending from Double G.
I could watch it all day, honestly.
It's fun. It is fun to see. Simon from long range, and wow.
It's such a good putt from Simon. Especially, I said it to him after, like, you got the score you deserved, because he threw the shot where he should, and he just had to go in big putt.
Usually when I get like a big putt on a hole, it's usually because I convinced myself, I threw such a good shot, I got unlucky, I deserve this score.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of putting and scoring can just be convincing yourself in that moment.
Sias not really getting the score he deserved.
No, he didn't. But he was, again, I think similar situation to what happened to me on the last hole, is he committed to running his first putt because he wanted to get the 2, and trusted himself that he could make it from the comeback, and sometimes we don't.
I think with Dela is, it's easy to get greedy out here, and you have to a certain extent.
Yeah, picking and choosing those moments of when you can. I made a joke with Simon that he could hit me in the nuts if I missed that putt, and he was like, dude, you can't take those putts for granted. And then I walked up and dropped it, and he's like, okay, you can take those for granted.
Showing some good camaraderie between two friends out there. It's good to see.
Yeah. So at this point, we have a pretty long backup. There was a lost disc a couple cards ahead of us. And it was a bummer because, we have a spotter on this hole, and it sucks to lose a disc and to see a competitor have to go through that and have to have that terrible walk back. So if you're ever out there, if you're volunteering, you're spotting, you're doing anything like that, really, really go and make sure you get a good look-see, especially on a course like this. You don't want to see somebody lose their disc at all. So it was a tough break, and let's see how we can handle it.
Yeah, this is our hole 8. It is a par 3, 390 feet. This hole's famous because I don't know how many years back, Barsby threw a forehand roller and actually aced this hole. There's a root right by the basket, which enables or allows a jump to happen. And I know a lot of other people have come close with the forehand roller, and it looks like we're not going to see one, which actually really surprised me on this hole.
Well, you convinced me to learn that shot for next year. It's just it's too high of a percentage. You take the trees out of play. Sias showing off a big thumber game, giving himself an opportunity. I'm pinched off here on the right side. I have to throw out into the field with a hyzer, and I pull it into the trees. It was pretty sick.
It's at this point the rain is really coming down. All the players are starting to lose grip on their disc. Tiles are getting wet, so this is the time where mental fortitude is what keeps you in the game.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's a Sonic from GG. Maybe not. No, that might have been a Firebird or something. Give himself a good opportunity to save his 3.
Eric with a 5 glide jump putt approach. You're going to be just outside the circle.
No, a little closer than that. It's a pretty, I think, easier putt. Maybe
Okay.
it was.
Maybe just inside the circle. It's a good putt there to save your bogey. Bogey is not bad on this hole considering where you were on your first shot and your second shot. So minimizing mistakes out there. It's a good 3 by Garrett. And then Simon's right where you want to be, under the basket. This was Sias' thumber?
No, this was after a layup. He had no look. After the thumber, it was kind of a bummer.
Nice find there. You can just hear the rain.
Yeah, it's really coming down. I'm making things tough. You know, this is, I think, at the point where, you know, it's still early in the round, but, man, I was struggling when it came to grip issues, and it becomes tough, and especially on hole 9, a beautiful downhill hole. You know, it's a tunnel that slopes, and there's danger to the right, danger to the left, and danger long, so it's really all about speed control. If you can get something to crest the hill and slide its way up to this pin, you're in business.
For me, throwing a good shot on this hole is one of the most satisfying shots, maybe in disc golf.
Absolutely. Simon kicks early and almost takes out some people on the next tee pad. This is what the line you want to look like. If it was just a little bit higher, that has every bit of the chance to make its way down to the pin.
With the rain coming down as hard as it is, being where Garrett is, it's really not bad at all.
That came out so early.
Sias getting one turned over.
That had a little more air. Sias was also doing some business.
And Simon from no man's land. That's got to go.
Still a really good shot from there. Just giving himself a chance, honestly, is really good.
You're throwing a Marshall here?
That's a Marshall, and oh, I'm just gonna miss everything.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I made the play of, like, I didn't want to come up short like Simon did. I wanted to give myself a chance at the 3, so I was making sure I committed. But there is a lot of cabbage over there to not catch, so that was kind of a, I wouldn't call it a bummer because it was, I could have thrown a better shot. It's just I don't know. It's a tough call. It's just, should have thrown it better, and then I wouldn't be down the ditch. Sias playing it perfectly, giving himself an opportunity to have a nice comeback putt, just slightly uphill, less danger. It's the right play. So I'm in no man's land.
Good approach.
Yeah, the Claymore bailed me out there.
Simon from long range, looking to save a par. Just goes a little bit left. And those comebackers in the rain are actually really difficult because you have to. It takes a lot of time because you have to dry off your putter. You got to get set, so you can't really take anything for granted out here. And GG putting his disc in the basket for his par.
A good par, man. You can tell Gigi's feeling it. You know, he hasn't had any bad breaks. He's just, you know, keeping the disc in play, giving himself opportunities on the green, and kind of just letting the rest work for him. It's really, really, really fun to watch. Making that Sonic do work too. Just keeping him close.
It's the perfect Daylight disc if you are able to control it.
Yeah. Sias with a great 3. You know, didn't get in trouble off the tee, just and threw a great approach.
And he'll be the last to tap in for a bogey. See the water flying off his jacket there.
And that hole is generally a hole that can cause some big numbers, but it definitely yields some 2s. So getting some 3s feels great. Onto hole 10, touchy downhill shot, plays much shorter than 348. People will throw putters and mid ranges, just nice and smooth at this. You're trying to get some ground play if you can help it. Give you an anti-skip and whatnot, and keep you from going in the road on the left.
Yeah, when it's not pouring down rain, this is probably one of the easier holes on Dela, but definitely no gimme. GG with a great kick off the tree there. He'll find himself maybe just outside the circle, putting at the basket downhill, so he'll have a good look there. Sias coming off. I don't know what he's throwing, but if I had to guess, it'd probably be like a matrix.
That was a great throw. And he got the kiss off those logs. It was a great shot.
Simon with the Iron Samurai. And you see there, it's pretty stable. He had some anhyzer angle there, and it hyzered back and puts him out of bounds. But he went out of bounds far enough down the fairway to have a circle 3 look. And what are you throwing here?
I just went Marshall, knowing that my grip was compromised on the last couple holes. I wanted to have something that had some grip and at least keep me in the fairway to not, you know, to kind of stem the bleeding of the last couple holes.
Giving it a good run from there. Well, Simon's further back than I thought, so he has some work to do. But he connects. That is a fantastic putt in the rain. Stopping the bleeding, not getting 2 bogeys in a row. And that's what it takes to be among the elite disc golfers.
Absolutely.
Not making 2 bad holes in a row. And GG feeling it, getting the birdie 2. It's a great feeling right there.
And I know Gigi will say it that, you know, putting is maybe one of the not his strong suits, but if he can keep the way he was feeling during this round in inclement conditions, he just feels it. He gets the disc up. He's gonna have pop off a lot more big rounds that a lot of players won't be able to compete with because he's got that next level distance. He's got perfect control, and then dials in the putting, and he's, you know, an elite player.
And one thing I like to add for the rain, I've noticed that when it's cold and rainy, your hand kind of locks up, and for spin putters, it's really hard to get a clean release. But Gigi's putt is so push putt that I feel like the rain doesn't even really compromise it at all.
He's still releasing the hand at the same times and whatnot. He's just letting it go.
Hole 11, 201 feet. It is the shortest hole out at Dela, but it can be one of the most treacherous. You can ask me. The shots that you're going to be seeing are a little putter, maybe mid turnover, or a little straight forehand up. I know Gigi has the Sonic dialed in. You see there, it's coming in for a nice soft landing. It's a beautiful shot right there. Really can't draw it up better.
I was under my umbrella for these guys watching them throw, so I didn't even get to watch some of these, and I know that they were all good. Sias getting a nasty roll. He ends up a little bit farther down than we were able to see. It's a Luster MD from Simon. And he makes that look really good.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
So I kicked down into what Sias proclaimed Eagle's Nest. And it was so far down there, it was a slippery slope, and I just said, I'm going to re-tee. I have a good chance to save bogey from there, but... So I left myself with this for bogey.
And that, oh, thank goodness for that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, it happens out here. Like you said, like this is a treacherous 201-foot hole, and from where I was, I don't know, I could have maybe saved a 4. What a great putt from Sias. Let's go, dude. Probably could have saved a 4 from there, maybe, but it was no guarantee. And so I felt more confident having thrown the tee shot a bunch in practice that I could just execute from there and try and get save at least a bogey. But got the double, so there are worse things. Shows you how hard it's raining out there.
Simon has a smile on his face. That's why he's doing as well as he is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We have hole 12, 310 feet. Compared to last year, they have added a Mando on the left side because a lot of people are throwing a wide sidearm or even a roller, and it was threatening the next hole's tee pad. So they just want to keep it safe. Shout out to the PDGA or whoever made that change. I think it's a better hole in general now. But play here is a mid-range or understable fairway driver. Flip up to straight, rides right. Garrett doesn't get the turn on it. He's going to find himself left. Sias has a good move on this. It's looking really nice. It misses the trees, and it does, but it hits the log.
It was such a good line from him. That's what you want it to look like. A little more air, and that's probably there.
He'll probably be about 40 feet from there. And then Simon throwing the high turnover to hyzer play, and that's great.
So good from Simon. He's trusting that Iron Samurai and making it work.
What happened there?
Again, grip issues. Just struggling. Didn't even make it to the mandatory, so I'm having to do something that I'm in a place where I've never really been. So I go with the Lucid X Felon, trying to flex it up there, misjudge the distance, and leave myself with a long look for par.
We were the hole behind you, and I remember this is when the rain was really coming down. Mm-hmm. Probably the toughest part of the round, I'd say.
Absolutely. It was a tough stretch.
That is a fantastic 3 there. That is amazing. Almost missing the Mando to a compromised standstill forehand. To put it in there, that's a great morale boost.
Yeah,
for you.
it's at this point I'm definitely feeling the struggle, and it's tough. And I'm watching my card mates. Like, it seemed as if they were unaffected by the rain. And I just wanted to ask them, like, what are you doing? You guys are amazing. So I just had to sit back and kind of take notes and just embrace the good golf I was able to see. And, hats off to these guys because they've been able to maintain really well so far, and we'll see how they can continue.
Yeah, 2 birdies in this condition on this hole. That's something I wouldn't suspect.
Yeah. In the rain, we played that hole 2 under par, which is pretty rad. Check out, shows you how much water we had out there. It was pretty nuts. Sias staying strong, getting back to even. Simon at 5, Garrett at 3. I'm at a big 4 big. Not fun, but there are worse things. And great front 12 from Simon and Garrett. Sias battling back after those couple early ones, and we're excited to be doing this commentary, and we're really looking forward to what the back 12 holds.
Yeah, shout out to Innova for sponsoring the event, as well as the PDGA. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the back 12 here on Par Save Productions.
Yeah, thank you, Par Save, for being out there roughing the way, dealing with the rain and roughing it. We're really excited to be here, and we'll catch you guys on the back 12.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks to Par Save Productions. Make sure you guys subscribe to that channel. If you want to support us and be vegan on the road, get the Iron Samurai at discmania.net. It's available May 22nd.
Yeah, support me, Eric Oakley. Get my new Lucid X Felon at dynamicdiscs.com. Be dynamic.
Keep on dreaming.